I'd like to talk for a minute about transformative design. It totally perhaps changes the scale of the home, but it doesn't change the heart of the home. And it keeps the sense of history alive, because the old structure is there and the new structure is there, and the two marry together in such a way that there's a harmonious whole. And so transformative architecture is something that's common here and may be a very needed service for many people. The transformative architecture doesn't have to be a major change in a building. It can be analyzing a structure and finding salient points, key changes that you can make that make structure work better. The transformative architecture can take place on a micro scale or a larger scale. I think the importance of the term is to realize that the home that you have can change into the home that you want. There was a family that came to me that had a very small house in Vineyard Haven. The gentleman does sound recording and needed to have a sound studio. There was no space for it. The family had recently added children, and they had older children from previous marriages, and the house was tiny. And they had seen saw our house that was about half a mile away, that had been built decades before, and we came together and created for this family a greenhouse. But it was much more than a greenhouse, because it functioned as the entry to the home. It functioned as an entry to the new studio, which was in a basement that was under the home, which was raised up on a new foundation in order to accommodate that space. It functioned as a growing space for flowers, and also for a hobby of the gentleman of the home, which was raising hot and hotter red peppers. And it didn't hurt the home, it didn't hurt the neighborhood, and it exists today as a wonderful addition that you wouldn't even notice. But it's very radical in terms of what most people would have done. Most people would have said, well, I have to move. In this case, it wasn't really an option, because they couldn't afford to do that. But they could afford to do this transformative architecture. This home replaces a home that was here that was exactly the same size. We kept the same silhouette, same dimensions, same roof form, except for where that screen porch is. And we made it fit the new family, who interestingly has a husband who is 6'5", and although he's a financial analyst and CEO, he looks like a quarterback. And the spaces are large, and the spaces are expansive to fit his being, which is part of the feng shui of this building. You see behind me the diagonal stainless steel rod rigging, which is used to create the stress resistance for diagonal forces that might be applied to the building in a hurricane force wind and are necessary by code. They replace heavy steel bents, which would be otherwise required, and I'm sure the cost of doing this is less. Sometimes the best solutions are more economical than the more expected solutions.